This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. And I have a couple guests for you today, and a really great topic. And I'm going to introduce to you one of our two guests, which is Ms. Karen Foli. And Karen Foli's from my old neck of the woods back there in Columbus, Ohio. She lives, well, I'm not going to tell you where she lives because she might get really mad. So welcome to The Secret to Everything, Karen.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here today.
So I understand that you had a son, I think it was one, that had some pretty severe allergies. Is that correct?
Yes. I was fortunate that I never had a medical emergency. He had to use an inhaler, had to have that at school. So I was never concerned that if he accidentally ate something, that it would be like, it could be a deadly experience. But I did have to avoid wheat and dairy products, all through school. So it was a challenge back in those days.
And we'll definitely get more into that as we get into the conversation, introduce I don't want to say our real guest because that's not very nice. So our other guest that we have on, which we'll tell you a little bit about if I ever stop talking in this intro. But Karen, you're more than just I'm going to call you an allergy mom. You are also someone who has been very involved with the brand The Secret to Everything in the past couple of years. And we have really valued your contribution to the different classes and the groups and even a live event that you attended. And it's very rare that I get one of you guys on live radio for obvious reasons. And I just wondered, a lot of people are like, what is the secret to everything? Like, oh, you do other things. What has been your experience in interacting with both kind of the brand, the people, the classes, and me? Do you have anything you'd like to share?
Oh, absolutely. The first thing that happened to me was when I was in your live Juicy Living class. And at the conclusion of it, I was totally changed for the much, much better. It gave me courage to speak my truth and honestly, freedom to really accept who I am and love all of myself. And the group is so supportive and loving. They've become my family, my close friends. And you are super supportive and amazing and just give us so much. We really appreciate and love you dearly.
You're so sweet, and your paycheck will be there in 2 weeks. No, I'm kidding, you guys. That was just Karen. Karen's always very, very sweet in sharing. But I do want to say, my view of healing, my view of coaching, my view of teaching is very much, you guys, I always say, I teach what I need to learn, obviously, and you guys always bring so much. So thank you. As I said, you've been a great asset. Everyone loves you in the classes. So I'm so glad you discovered us. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about Karen already knows a little bit about our guest. When we get back from break, we'll be introducing or talking to officially, which is Tracy Bush. Her nickname is Nutrimom, and I think she's actually kind of close to my current neck of the woods. And I like to pretend I'm like a pseudo redneck. Don't be offended. I love rednecks. I was engaged to a redneck, although I'm no longer engaged, so maybe I didn't love them too much. But anyway, Tracy, I'm going to have to ask Tracy where she's from. I'm not sure if she's from Winston or Charlotte or Raleigh, but I know she's around here and somewhere in North Carolina, I believe. I could be wrong. But there's so much to tell you about Tracy. I kind of like people to tell you in their own words. But overall, Tracy's the founder and president of Nutrimom. And this is a consulting business that specializes in food allergies. And I believe she also has a son, but we'll have to ask her, Karen, who kind of led her into this work, which I always think it's so cool that when kind of negative things lead us into super positive things where we can help other people and save them a lot of money and time and trouble from what we went through. Tracy's also an author. I was just looking at her blog right before we came on, and I didn't know she's in like the top 100 blogs. Like, she is something, this girl. So I can't wait to talk to her. She's a mom. Of course, that's amazing. She's a website. She's in the media. And her website is, this is clever too, Allergy Foods, but it's spelled ALLERGYPHOODS.com. So if you guys want to check that out during the break, feel free. I'm not one of those. I'm always telling you guys to go off. I'm not one of those that are like, don't do anything, just listen. So feel free to check that during the break, but make sure you come back because we've got lots of juicy things. I'm stealing that word from Karen because she said it, to talk about, and lots of things to bring to the discussion. I think that I've discovered testing thousands and thousands of clients, including little babies, couple-day-old babies on allergies. So I've got, I think, some important things to contribute as well. And Karen has her own observations. So we will be talking about lots and lots of things. Don't forget to check out one of our many sponsors, secrettoeverything.com. And you don't have to do that now because you'll get lost in that. So I am Dr. Kimberly. Karen Foli is with me. We'll be back with Tracy Bush, the Nutrimom. I'll ask her how she came by that title right here on The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and Karen Foli.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Nemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created Nemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere, Florida. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine such as hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining rooms can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you visit, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic downtown Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
You are listening to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and I am here with my dear friend Karen Foli, and you'll see why she's here in a little minute. But I'd like to introduce our guest, Tracy Bush, officially. She's also called the NutriMom. Her website is allergyfoods.com, and you got to rewind to hear the spelling because I'm not going to spell it again. And I'm sure Tracy will be sharing many ways to get a hold of her before this is all done. So welcome to The Secret to Everything, Tracy.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, first of all, my burning question. Where are you located in North Carolina?
I am just outside of Winston-Salem.
Oh, gosh. Oh, we're really, really close. I live in Pofftown, so I'm also don't tell me you live in Pofftown.
I
I'll
do
start
live in
screaming.
Pofftown.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm not going to scream because it's really bad, and Rob will yell. But if I could, you guys, I would be freaking out right now. Are you really serious? That's
I'm
too
dead serious, and we've probably passed each other in some food store somewhere.
Okay, Tracy. Well, we'll be talking definitely more.
Yeah.
that must be meant to be. That's bizarre. Because I mean, of course, you guys know there's lots of satellite places all over, around Winston. So that's very interesting. Okay, anyway, back to the topic at hand because this hour will definitely go fast. So I just want to share really quick before I dive in with both of you. I had a brother with severe allergies, and he went through all the allergy panel things, and he couldn't eat stuff. And I also, I never got tested when I was young, but I had like a severe reaction to peanut butter. So probably I had other undiagnosed now, allergies, and now I have allergies as an adult, of course. And my nephew, like your son, Karen, I don't know your whole story, but we're going to get in a minute, Tracy. My nephew actually has severe, deadly allergies. Actually, my brother's, almost every kid has allergies, but I have one nephew with really bad allergies. So definitely an important topic. I think it's also an important topic because after running thousands and thousands, and I know, Tracy, I don't know if you know what I do or not, but I run, energy sensitivity scans, we call them, really allergy scans, because the body tells us what it doesn't like. But after, just thousands and thousands over the years, from babies to 90-year-olds, like everybody's allergic to something. And we're talking food allergies specifically today, but everybody, and you're like, oh no, I'm not allergic. Yes, you guys are. I mean, if you don't, I don't really want to say, to come to me for something negative, but believe me, you guys all have allergies. It's just what allergies do you have? And we'll get into that. So Tracy, How did you become the NutriMom and start this like amazing blog and this huge business?
Well, actually, I do have a son that has multiple food allergies. And before moving down to North Carolina, I worked for a wonderful doctor in New Jersey. And upon his diagnosis, we came back from the allergy specialist, and I literally just cried when I went to the food store. They didn't give any support, and they kind of just gave us a prescription for an EpiPen and said, we'll see you next year. And I had no clue what to do from there. And, I needed to nourish him and I needed to feed him, but there was nobody that could help me with the in-between. And granted, it was 15 years ago, so a lot has changed between now and then, thank goodness. But the products were limited, knowledge was limited back then, and thank goodness I was working for this doctor who took a nutritional approach to a lot of her patients' issues. So she kind of molded me into this, I don't want to say nutritional fanatic, but she made me start thinking outside of the box on how to use our foods and how to replace things, and that's where it all started.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it just evolved out of that kind of awful, crisis type of energy into this amazing thing. And Karen, would you agree with Tracy that when you found out, did you feel like you had a lot of assistance or a lot of information and support?
Oh, I am right with Tracy. I was totally flabbergasted, lost, and it was like, what do I do? Where do I go? And fortunately, I found an iridologist, so I turned immediately to alternative medicine to help me, and they really gave me a lot of guidance. And I found a Whole Foods, like an alternative food store that was actually Chinese medicine, and so I went that route.
I love that too. And I just saw this actually. I didn't zoom in on this before, Tracy. I just saw that you've done a lot of work with autism, ADHD, and other chronic, childhood disorders. So it's so interesting. And I'm going to be devil's advocate for a minute, and play kind of dumb. So why are you, playing in that arena? Does that have anything to do with allergies?
Well, absolutely, because like you said, anyone can have an allergy, and there's allergies and there's intolerances, and especially with children or even adults on the spectrum, a lot has to do with behavior and diet, and a lot of people don't want to do medication. And I have nothing against medication, but if someone is looking for an alternative and they're hypersensitive to medications, then why not use something that'll make them healthier and be able to help them with some of their issues.
And I love what you're advocating. Really, I'm heading more and more that way, even outside of like nutritional supplementation, because we do a lot with that and herbs and things. I mean, herbs are food, so that's okay. But I love that you kind of get into the whole food arena, meaning you're correcting this at the food level. You're correcting it at the level that it kind of appears. And I kind of love that food is medicine, because you really are saying, look, you can have all this stuff and you can replace this with this, and you do talk a lot about organics, which I also love in your book. And can you tell us before we dive into the book and other things, why don't you tell us what book I'm talking about, Tracy?
Sure. Well, I put together an ebook. It's called The Stepping Stones to Food Allergies. You can find it on my website and on Amazon. And it really is a compilation of everything that I felt that we needed when we didn't have that post-diagnosis time, that the confusing time, the overwhelming time. I wanted to be able to collect everything that I would have wanted. So if somebody came to me and said, I have no idea where to start, I could literally just say, here you go. And it would be a great start to, whatever they need.
I think that's so helpful to have a map or a guidebook, kind of an all-in-one, and it is very comprehensive. And I love that you do recipes. And it's so funny because I was reading through this. I have a daughter who's a vegan by choice, and I actually saw a lot of things that would be helpful information. So I'm actually going to let her read over your book, because I thought she'd get some more ideas, because that's a challenging, in a different way, a similar way, that's a challenging lifestyle choice that she's made. So she's always like, what do I eat? So definitely going to direct her to your stuff. So anybody that's out there that kind of plays in the whole, even just want to be healthy, wouldn't you agree, Tracy? Like you could really follow, that blueprint, even if you're just like, what, I'm sick of all these processed foods and I'm sick of, not feeling good. Like even, you don't even have to necessarily, like you said, there's food intolerances, I say sensitivities, similar thing, energy. Don't you think that your book could be a guidebook just for someone who's really trying to get out some of the junk and replace with healthy choices?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I tell people that come to me for consultations, they're so used to growing up and having a certain thought pattern of, okay, if we're going to make a cake, we have to use wheat flour and we have to use this and that. And they look at me and they say, how am I going to do this? And I simply say, it's relearning your kitchen. You go to the store and you buy the same ingredients. It's just a different product. So you have to kind of retrain your brain and open up your mind and realize it's not just wheat flour that's out there. There's nut flours if you can, if you can handle them. There's gluten-free flours. There's a ton of different things. You just have to learn what's out there and how to use them.
And I love that, and you kind of referred to this when you were talking. I love that now, and it's kind of unfortunate. Either we're more aware, like I said, that we're all very sensitive to some foods or allergic, but it's created this whole market that's really expanded our choices, don't you think? And even our price brackets of those choices. So we have, I mean, compared to 20 years ago, like you said, or 15, or, gosh, we have like tremendous options from ready-made kind of things to, like you said, replacement foods that are available even in our regular grocery store.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember having 2 stores that carried maybe a handful of things when my son was diagnosed. And, our Whole Foods back in New Jersey was a 45-minute ride away. And now, thank goodness, I can go to almost any grocery store and walk in and get most of what I need right off the shelf, which is wonderful because you don't want to have to drive to 15 different stores at one time. So,
Absolutely. Have you found, because you do consult one-on-one or consult with families, what would you say are your top, let's say 3, I'm going to ask you, your top 3 overall and or childhood, either one, allergies that you find with food?
I've seen a lot of gluten issues, a lot of dairy issues, and actually candida, which is not a food allergy per se, but it does have to do with digestion and how you absorb your foods. So that's kind of been hanging out a lot lately.
I love that you say that, and that opens up a huge window because wait for it, you guys. My faithful listeners are going to know what I'm going to say. So, and I'm kind of woo-woo, Tracy, but I think you're a little woo-woo yourself. I'm not sure, but so you might be able to hang with us. But usually I do like a collective conscious scan because I have technology and I use that in my practice. And I thought it would be fun to run, and Karen's used to this too, because I'm merciless with the groups that I teach, right, Karen? I do this all the time. But I ran a collective consciousness for the audience of everyone who ever listened to this radio show, recorded or live, or however you guys listen to it. And interestingly enough, guess what, Tracy? You know your stuff, because the top thing that came up is kind of an intolerance, not necessarily an allergy, like you said, but kind of a pretty severe intolerance for milk, particularly some of the ingredients in milk. So that's correlating with exactly what you said one of the top things is. And GMO, gluten came up, which, I'm sure you guys are aware of, the audience. I know you are, Tracy. I know Karen is. There's the whole thing. Are we really allergic to wheat? Or are we allergic to the composition of the hybrid seed? Or are we allergic to the toxic poisons that we're putting on the wheat? What's your opinion about that whole thing?
Well, definitely, I think it's a combination. Everybody asks why there were no food allergies 25, 30 years ago. And if you look at your foods and you look back at the history of what we have done to them, how they're processed now, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. And I'm not saying that it's the end-all be-all, but it's definitely a huge piece. I mean, it's so obvious. The foods that we ship over across seas are non-GMO'd, and their food allergies over there are a lot less. So even that is another piece of the puzzle. I mean, it's not everything, but, when you are not able to digest something properly, you have to really look at what the food is, how it's processed, what it's made of. And absolutely, I mean, if you were, I don't know why anyone would purposely feed their child or themselves any kind of pesticide or chemical on purpose.
That's like you guys need to okay, if you were doing something else, rewind that, because that was a great statement. I totally agree. I know Karen totally agrees too. And Karen, I'm going to bring you on after this break because we're kind of heading into the break. So I'm going to ask you some questions after the break about your opinion of what Tracy's saying as well. But I totally love that. And my reaction to wheat gluten is so extreme. When I love bread and butter, of course, probably because I'm allergic to it. But when I eat a piece of GMO bread, with or without butter, you guys can forget the butter part, I blow like crazy, Tracy and Karen. Like, I look like, I'm no kidding, like 7 months pregnant immediately, within seconds. I'm sure Tracy's not shocked by that. But when I eat an organic piece of bread, with or without butter, I don't have much bloat. Now, I'm not saying there isn't some discomfort, but I just don't have that reaction.
Yep, I've heard that a lot. It's not uncommon. People that are non-celiac with a gluten intolerance, I've heard that a ton of times.
Yeah, so this is important stuff, guys. This is a big show. This hits us where, we all have to eat, right? We all got to eat. So let's kind of use this to kind of shift some of our perspectives on that. I am here with Tracy Bush, Nutrimom, and a neighbor, and my good friend Karen Foli, who lives where I used to live. So we're all friends here. We'll see you on the other side here at Secret Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the 4 corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome back. You are listening to one of the most enlightening shows on the X Zone, Secret to Everything. I'm just going to say anywhere. We have the beautiful and amazing Tracy Bush, also called the NutriMom, and she has a website, Allergy Foods. Has a little weird spelling, so wait for it. We'll spell it again in a little bit, .com. And it may come up if you just put in I suspect if you put in Tracy Bush allergy or a Tracy Bush NutriMom in your search engine, I'm sure a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's just a little suspicion will pop up. We're also here with Karen Foli. She's a mother of a son, grown son now, who had allergies when he was younger. So I'm going to start with you, Karen. What do you think about what Tracy's saying? Is that your observation about your own eating patterns or your family's or your son's? What do you think about the milk and the GMO wheat?
Oh, I can't agree with both of you more. And let me tell you, I volunteer babysit often for young mothers, and they're concerned because there are so many that their firstborn child has all of these allergies, and they're saying, what are we doing? What wrong? What can we do to make this better? We want to have healthy children. And they're all agreeing that they need to eat organic food themselves, not only feed their children, but for themselves, their families, their husbands, in order to have a healthy child and avoid this to begin with. So yeah, I'm totally seeing that 100%.
So Tracy, I come into you with my child who was just diagnosed with, let's say, the most severe food allergies, and I'm just beside myself. And I get your lovely, amazing book, but is it an easy transition? Is it an easy transition to go from, my parents, I grew up with dessert at every meal and pies and cakes and meat and potatoes. And just the really homemade rolls. My grandmother was a German caterer. I grew up with tons of this stuff. Is it an easy switch to get them to substitute, to get them to eat more, vegetables or grow their own food or whatever you recommend? What's your observation about that process?
Well, it really depends on how dedicated someone is. Obviously, 9 times out of 10, if it's a mother who has an allergic child, obviously their first concern is going to be, what can I do to keep my child safe and fed? So, that's a little bit easier than, say, an adult that comes to me and says, well, I don't cook and I don't like vegetables and we eat out a lot. And I understand that. And, it's really just about how you want to change your life. And I try to counsel them in a way that, kind of looks at you, rather than saying you can't have these foods, I say, look at all the foods you can have. And, it's just about, again, retraining your brain, because it's not that we're so limited. It's just we have to use different foods other than what we're used to. And especially when it's dealing with, life or death with food allergies, that's, you have to make the transition. You have to do it to stay safe. And, your family has to be on board. The more people that are on together, it's a little easier, because then you're not making, 3 or 4 different meals like I did in the very beginning. But, it can be overwhelming, and you do have days where you're going to cry and you're going to have, a breakdown because you've been cooking for 9 hours straight or whatever. But then, your lifestyle changes and your foods change, and you find different ways to make your recipes easy and simple, and, it gets better. It's just, it's a transition like anything else.
So what we would do when we hit that crisis point is we'd call you and we'd be like, Tracy, help me. I need to see you right away. Right? That's what we do. We make an appointment with you. Now, you brought up a great point, Tracy. You brought up restaurants. I've cut back a little bit, just where I'm at in my life, and my kids are getting older. I've done the whole cooking thing. I'm kind of over it. And I go out to eat a lot. Now, I try to go to locally sourced, in Winston, we have a decent selection of locally sourced organic type of restaurants. So, I can do pretty good. But if I'm allergic, have you found any type of, and I hate to say chains because I really don't support chains anyway, but I guess, I'm not talking like fast food necessarily, but have you found any type of restaurants or any type of cuisine that lends itself to, kind of staying away from the stuff that most people are allergic to?
Well, We don't eat out a lot, honestly. We stay home a lot. We cook a lot just because with my son's allergies, I feel that it's just safer that way. The only place that we actually eat out for him, and I guess it would be considered fast food, is Chipotle. They're really great about allergens, but that doesn't mean that it's safe for everyone, obviously. I've heard some people mention Red Robin. I've heard some people mention some other chains that they can eat at safely. But you really have to look into the ingredients very carefully to make sure that you stay safe.
And it's so funny, and I'll get Karen's perspective on this in a second, but it's so funny you say that, because even though my daughter's a vegan, which again, I know is a different thing, you guys always write me, you're so helpful. You're like, Dr. Kimberly, don't you know vegan is different? Yes, I know, but there's some same principles. I've learned a lot from my daughter, because we'll go to a restaurant and I'll be like, oh yeah, you can have this. And she's like, no, I'm vegan, not vegetarian, because it'll have butter in it, or it'll have animal fat, or it'll have milk. And it's a very similar, like you said, I think you really captured it well, Tracy, when you said you have to reprogram just almost everything. You almost have to like reset and start from the beginning and look at your list and look at your substitutions. And I'm sure you're really, really good at it now, and it's very natural to you. What are your thoughts on the restaurant issue, Karen? Can you think of anything? I think Chipotle is a great suggestion, actually, because they are very organic and very clean usually with how they source their ingredients. Do you have any thoughts on that, Karen?
I'm with Tracy, where I did a lot of home cooking. I didn't have a job, so I was a stay-at-home mom when my kids grew up. So even to this day, I avoid most restaurants. I only go to very few. So I'm not a good resource on that. But when we would go out, it was always a challenge to find something on the menu for him to eat.
Yeah. And so I remember my daughter Brianna was babysitting a little boy with severe peanut allergies, and he had to have the EpiPen and the whole thing. And, the mother was really strict. And of course, Brianna's mother, which is me, said, let's take, the kids to the mall, thinking I'm doing this like great thing. And we take them to the mall. And most of you guys in the South at least know what Chick-fil-A is. So we take them to Chick-fil-A. Tracy can see this coming a mile away, I know. And I just feel it. And so we take them to Chick-fil-A and we go home. Nothing happened. No EpiPen incidents. Everything happy. I'm feeling so great. What a nice thing. Gave up my day to take, my daughter and her babysitting kids out. And then Brianna was fired. And everybody's like, why? Because I'm so dumb, you guys. Of course, you know, Tracy. Chick-fil-A cooks their little chicken in peanut oil. And it was by the grace of God that, the little boy didn't have to go to the hospital, or I didn't have to use the EpiPen. Yeah. So, it is trickier, isn't it, Tracy? It's a little trickier than you might think.
Definitely. And funny about Chick-fil-A is some people, not all people, have, with a peanut allergy, are okay eating foods that are cooked in the oil. That doesn't mean it's safe for everyone, but some people with peanut allergies can have it because it's been cooked. Obviously, again, you have to, do what's safest for your allergy, but that's probably why you were safe for that day. So.
Ooh. So she was kind of, even though like the principal, like she kind of fired her on principle because we weren't being obviously careful, and I didn't know that information that you said. So anyway, yeah, she'll never let me forget that. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned the gut and gut health, and I'm sure you know a lot about that. Do you recommend at all that the people that you consult with take enzymes or take healthy bacteria or kind of support or heal their gut health? And if you do you see improvement if they follow some of those recommendations?
Well, I do not include any types of supplements or medications or anything in my consultations. What happens is a lot of people that come to me are already diagnosed. They have their food allergy panel, and they get those types of things from their doctor. So that's why I always refer them back to their doctor. If they ask me, they're more than welcome to ask me anything. And I do promote it on my pages because I do use them myself. But again, it's a sensitive thing, and I feel more comfortable having them speak to their doctor about it.
Right. So you're more from the, like I said, and I like that about you. I like that basically you stick with the food angle, right? Is that correct? Mostly.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And okay. So tell us some of the most popular recipes, because you guys really should check this out. Because even if you're just wanting to eat healthy, and Karen and I were talking about how there's some really great recipes, what are some of your favorite or the most popular recipes in your book?
Oh, goodness. See, that's hard because my recipes have become so much better since I wrote my ebook.
Oh,
I mean, they were okay, don't get me wrong, for basic starter recipes, it's great. But I look at the pictures that I did then and now, it's kind of comical to me. So anyone who's getting my ebook, please don't look at all the pictures.
you're so funny. So what do people like? What's your feedback? I know people write you. I know they give you feedback, your clients. What do they say they like that you've introduced them to?
Well, there's one that is in the book that I recommend a lot to people that are looking for kind of a hearty breakfast, allergy-friendly recipe that they can make a lot of and that's easy. And I just call it breakfast rice. It's really just kind of like fried rice with, sauteed vegetables and some other things and some kind of meat. I'm pro-protein all the time. So that's a big one. There's another one. I don't know if it's in my book or not. I don't think it is, but I make a chocolate avocado pie that's egg-free, dairy-free, nut-free, and it's really, really good.
Wait, could my daughter have that? Maybe. I have to think. I always have to triple think. So I'll have to get a hold of you and get that recipe and see if my vegan daughter can have that. I love that. You also refer a couple times in your book to this being your purpose. What do you mean by that? How has this become like a driving purpose in your life?
Well, the day I realized that it was my purpose is when I woke up one day and I was tired. I was dead tired. But I also realized that no matter how I feel every single day, if I'm sick, if I'm tired, if I'm overwhelmed, there's not one day I don't wake up and I don't want to do something to help everyone each day. So that's when I knew this is what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, I can tell. One thing I love about talking to people like yourself, like experts in like a niche or, a specific area, is you're so passionate about it. Like it's just, everything is kind of driven by that. Everything interlocks so nicely. Are you working on any new projects or developing anything new right now?
Well, I've been contemplating doing a second edition for my ebook. Like I said, my recipes and my food photos have come up really, really a lot better. I recently started on Pinterest. I have a YouTube channel where I have all my tutorials, and I really love to showcase how when I get products for product review, I like to take the product and see what else I can do with it other than what it says on the box. I want to really show people how they can reuse their foods. I have a recipe for frozen blueberry pie, and it's like 4 ingredients, and it's no bake. It's really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's all I can say. No bake. Did you say no bake?
No bake.
That's crazy. Amazing. Like you're making me curious. I think that's what I like. I think you kind of make this, or you try to make it, and I think it's deliberate. It seems like you try to make it kind of fun. Am I right?
Absolutely. And I have fun in my kitchen, and everybody should have fun in their kitchen, and everybody should enjoy their foods. And, food allergies should not stop you from doing that. It's just, again, a way to figure out how to use what you have.
Oh, that's so well said. I absolutely love that. And we are talking to Tracy Bush, the NutriMom, and her website is allergyfoods.com. Wait, you don't know how to spell it. It is PHOODS, P as in Paul, H as in Harry, OODS.com. And we'll be back with Ms. Tracy Bush, the NutriMom, and with our friend Karen Foli, and with me, Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, on The Secret to Everything right after this commercial break.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and on The Secret to Everything, we will merge the practical with open investigation into all realms of the mysterious. We will talk to cutting-edge alternative health practitioners, those who inspire and motivate you in business and life, and of course, we will share stories of the paranormal, conspiracy, and cryptozoology. You will transform because of the frequency I carry, the frequencies my guests carry. Life may never be the same after you listen to this program, for the secret to everything is for you, the listener, for those who desire more in every area of their lives and believe that it can still be found. Listen and discover thesecrettoeverything.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
You are listening to The Secret to Everything. I am Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and we are talking food. We are talking nutrition. We are talking food sensitivities, allergies, and all that good stuff. And if you think it's not interesting, you need to rewind the show because it is super, as Tracy says, fun and very interesting. Karen, what would you like to ask for all those moms that you hang out with? And you know what? I am like, what is wrong with you? Did you say you volunteer to watch moms, young children? Karen, we need to talk after the show. No, that's super sweet. I wish I had, if I had Karen, my life would have been totally different as a young mom. And my kids would actually probably call her mom because Karen is actually an amazing cook in her own right. But Karen, what would you like to ask on behalf of the moms that you know that may not be able to call in or ask their question right now?
Well, I would just ask Tracy, hold my hand. I need somewhere for people to listen to, my concerns, lead the way. I really love, Tracy, what you're doing, because it's empowering the moms. It's making them, feel like they can handle anything and they have some place to go to. Like you, I felt like I really had to search and I had to come up with my own recipes, like what you've done. Only it sounds to me like you have really done some awesome things, because mine were a little more complicated. But, I made it fun for my kids to where we ate the same thing. It was delicious food. So we ate like with my younger son, so he didn't feel deprived. So what are things that you would recommend to a young mom so that she could feed everyone in her family the same meal and not have her child feel deprived because he has to eat something different?
Well, I appreciate what you said, and I have a lot of people, believe it or not, when I consult that actually do cry because they've been there and I'm there with them. And I love knowing that I'm helping people. And I try to calm them and tell them that it's going to be okay. And I do a lot of extra follow up with them because that's what they need. That's why I'm here. But I always tell people, number one, you want to get your kids involved in the cooking process and the food process as much as possible. I do admit with my own son, I had a really hard time sharing the kitchen. I still do. So he didn't learn to cook a ton of stuff. We're working on that right now. So, but, my daughter, I started earlier. And if you get them involved in, what to buy at the grocery store and reading labels and, what do they want to try? And, I want to try this. Well, we can't have it this way, but we can use this ingredient instead of that. So then they start to understand, okay, I can't have this food, but I might be able to make it in a way that I can have it and it's safe for me. Second thing is I always tell people, once you get a good recipe that you like, then double it or triple it so that you can freeze it and put it in the freezer for later. You can, take it out in thawed, especially if you're going to be, in the process of doing, school activities or work, anything that keeps you busy, anything that's easy to just take out of the fridge and defrost just like any other meal is good.
You just made another, I think brilliant point, both of you. I was just in a local bakery and of course I cheat sometimes. I was getting something chocolate, as you guys can imagine. And my vegan daughter, Isabel, was standing there and I said, is there anything here you can have? Because whatever I suggest, she's always like, that is eggs, that is milk, that is butter. And I'm like, okay. So she yells at me. So I'm just like, is there anything here you would like that you can have? And she said, no, but, and this is what you just said, what I heard you just say, Tracy. She said, but guess what, Mom? I can make almost all this stuff vegan. And it's kind of what you're saying. I can make almost anything similar, non-sensitive, to the food sensitivities or non-allergic. And I think that is kind of like a big sigh of relief. And what I found amazing, I've been on really restrictive diets. If any of you out there have ever been on the GAPS diet, look it up. You talk about restriction, sugar. Come on. If you can do the GAPS diet, this is like luxury compared to like a GAPS diet. So, and all that to say is it's interesting how your tastes change. At one time, years ago, I was working on the Candida angle. And of course, they got you on a really low sugar. And I totally lost my craving for chocolate and candy, like lost it, you guys. It was gone. And it was gone for about a year until I'm like, I'm just going to have a little bite. And then it like turned the switch. Do you find that there's like this weird brain chemistry thing or I don't know, that happens when you cheat? And of course, with an allergy, you would pay for it. You could pay for it with your life, depending how severe your allergies were. You could break out in hives. You could get headaches. I mean, there's a number of things. You could, like me, become pregnant immediately. But you have that immediate consequence. But with things like, I think when you deprived yourself of things, I think you turn that switch back on. It just goes like full flame, like from 0 to 60. Do you see any of that in your work, Tracy?
Absolutely. And I went through that myself a couple years ago when I had to transition my diet. And that's a big part of what I tell people because they're feeling, they're like, oh, I'm going to miss having pizza. I'm going to miss having this. And, this is my nighttime snack. What am I going to eat? And I try to tell them that they have to be patient. It's not going to be, a quick fix. And I explain to them exactly what you said. When you change your foods, your cravings start to change. And I did the same thing. I was a big, I love chips and cheese. I still love chips and cheese, but not as much. But that was my go-to snack. And, eventually I started craving something else. And especially with people that crave like cheesy things or dairy products, I try to explain to my clients, a lot of times your body is actually craving protein, not cheese, not dairy. So if you replace it with a different protein, you start to crave the better item, and also you're getting away from your initial food that you're not supposed to have, less sugar, plus you're getting extra protein, which is good, and you're feeling more satisfied and nourished.
Oh my gosh, you sound like my daughter. My daughter's like, Mom, you don't really want those Cheetos. You want protein. I'm like, no, I don't. When you're eating those Cheetos, you're like, no, really, I don't. But I know what you're saying. That is, again, that is like, I wish I could like write that and put that on my wall. I probably should, and maybe you guys should too, because I think it's really helpful. When you change your foods, your cravings start to change. And when I was going through that candida diet, I used to love that Ezekiel bread. You guys know what that is, that living sprouted, bread that's really hard as a rock. But anyway, but I would toast it. That became my bedtime snack. I would get the raisin, which you weren't supposed to. I cheated a little bit, but the raisin cinnamon, and I would put almond butter instead of peanut butter on it. And, you could have butter on that diet. So I put a little bit of butter, and it was really good. And I started craving that. Like I would look forward to that, as if it were whatever, pizza or anything, a chocolate cake or whatever. So it is really, really true. I have personally experienced it. I'm sure some of you have, but you have to believe us. It is absolutely, I think that's brilliant, Tracy, because it's super true. So before we run out of time, tell us all the lovely ways that we can connect with you. I can stalk you, but not everybody can. So how can other people connect with you?
Well, obviously, all of my contacts are at my website at allergyfoods.com, and again, allergyphoods.com. But I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Google+, Instagram, and probably one other place that I'm forgetting right now, but everything is on my website.
So I'm right. We can kind of just Google you and it'll all come up, different things, and we can kind of track you down that way too. I'm lazy, so I like lazy way. So you guys can also do that, because I already did that and it works really, really well. So the name of your book again, or books, Tracy?
Just one book for now, and it's The Stepping Stones to Food Allergies.
Oh, my dear, I'm a psychic. Many, many books. You got a lot ahead. I just see a lot. So we'll have to talk sometime. But thank you so much. We're going to have to get together. Actually, some things started coming in for you. I'm going to connect you with some people. If you're interested in expanding your practice, I've got some ideas, and I know some people that might be interested in working with you. So we will talk later. But thank you so much for being on A Secret to Everything.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm always asking people to contact me for anything. If I can't help them, I'll certainly send them to someone who can. But yes, always contact me. Always ask.
Absolutely fabulous. Have an amazing day, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, Miss Karen, what are your wrap-up thoughts? I'll let you kind of wrap up the show a little bit with anything you would like to add. Are we forgetting something? I mean, did we forget something? I'm sure we could probably talk about this a couple shows, but can you think of anything that you really want to emphasize?
Oh, I think that Tracy is doing just an excellent job. I hope that more moms find her and seek her out, because she's an awesome resource for, not only, support, but her recipes, her book. I looked through it, and I wish I had that back when I was cooking for my son. It's really good, and she's got other tips in there. Form letter to send to the school.
Oh, wow.
It's more common now, but back when I sent my son to school, nobody else had allergies. He was the only one in the school that had allergies, so they didn't know how to handle it. So she's got all kinds of great tips besides cooking in her book. So I really highly recommend that book.
Yeah, I love that. She's a great resource. And I think I forgot to ask her, and I didn't look at her website, but I'm sure she can consult with you. I would imagine anywhere where you live. So definitely check her out. Allergy Foods, spelled with a PH secretteachers.com. And Karen, you know how amazing our aura readings are and our chakra readings, right? And you guys can experience that too. I think Karen's had like a billion zillion, right, Karen?
About that many, yes.
Well, she knows the benefit of them. If you would like to experience the benefit, you can, because we offer you kind of the first teaser one absolutely free. You can go to the website, secrettoeverything.com, put your name in our form, and we will give you instructions on how you too can be like Karen and begin number one of your billion zillion chakra and aura scan. So make sure that you do that. Check us out. We've got so many great programs right in the middle of learning how to use your intuition live program. You can still join us if you'd like. Lots of great things coming up. Of course, Karen's an ultimate, which is our kind of really intense, higher level learning. We're doing, thanks to Karen's suggestion, we're doing the energetics of Chinese medicine right now. So just really, really fun stuff. All on the secrettoeverything.com. Thanks for being with us. We'll have lots more great guests next week.